Are the class cards on the table? Can you see which lineup Denmark's starting? What the teams are starting, please?
Good morning. Welcome to the Richmond Olympic Oval. I am Colin Emerson alongside Adam Frost, and we're going to bring you the host Team Canada game today as they will take on Team Denmark. And Team Canada is looking to build on their impressive win against Sweden yesterday, while Denmark's trying to lick their wounds and rebound from a loss against the States. So, Adam, maybe fill our listeners in on what to expect in this one.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I think, like you said, this is going to be an exciting game between these two teams as they prepare for Worlds in a couple of months. I think that we'll see Canada implement a similar game plan as to what we saw yesterday versus Sweden. I think that they'll shorten their bench and run their 3-2-2-1 balanced lineup and their 3-3-1-1 high-low lineup. Whereas with Denmark, yesterday when they played the U.S., they used everybody on their bench. I thought that their high-low lineups played very well. So I'm expecting to see a lot of high-low versus Canada, and then depending on how the game goes, we'll see what the coaches do.
Yeah, especially you don't want to go down 2-0 in the round robin. You want to seed yourselves as high as possible. So you're right. We may see the shortening of the bench. And perhaps you've coached before, but maybe you want to fill our listeners in as well on your new role with Canada.
So I'm now the talent ID coach for Canada, which means that I'm working with athletes who are trying to be on the national team. So we identify them at our national championships. We label them a prospect athlete, invite them to a camp. If they show well at the camp, we designated them a next generation athlete. And then I work with them and address their gaps and try to get them to a point where they're ready to be on our national program. So
identifying and then building them up to the point where hopefully one day they can compete at this event.
Yeah. And I also do a little bit of coach development as well, so both roles are pretty interesting, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Perfect. So we're looking forward to your insight as this game and tournament moves along, as the two teams exchange pleasantries before the tip-off in this one. Pretty good crowd on hand, as you were mentioning. A lot of school kids have showed up to take this one in, and not many empty seats. So
yeah, BC Wheelchair Sports does a good job with the schools here in Richmond and gets some of our local youth excited about wheelchair rugby and educated on the sport. And I'm sure they'll be out here cheering Team Canada on. And let's hope that these guys put on a good game for them.
It is a great sport, well coached. So when you do get a look at it, it is, from the outside. I had some friends who caught it yesterday, and I was having to fill them in on the ride home as much as I could do, but they really enjoyed it as well. It was the Australia-Japan game, which was a barn burner.
Yeah, that was, what an exciting game that ended up being.
An upset for Japan, and went to overtime as well. So it was the first time I've seen an overtime, and it was good. So hopefully more of that continues this morning.
Yeah.
We're about ready to get started here. Coaches giving their players one last little bit of advice before we ultimately tip off.
So it looks like Canada's going to start 3-2-2-1 with Fabs, Travis, Cody, and Trevor.
And you mentioned that yesterday Canada kept a pretty short bench. Do you expect much of the same in this one?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I think that Canada will run 3-2-2-1 with Mike and Trevor and Pico and Fabs as the primary, or as the threes and the ones, and they'll run a little bit of high-low with Mike and Fabs to get Cody and Travis off the court. And then depending on how the game goes, they may use more of their bench, they may not. I think that Denmark is a team that Canada's targeted, that they definitely want to try their best to beat. So see how this game goes.
Lavoie and Fredrickson with a tip-off. Canada's able to win first possession of the ball and move it forward. Here's Lavoie. Got a lane, and Hirschfield's going to give him a pick, so he goes straight ahead. Jorgensen trying to cut him off. Pay trying to help him out as well as Caldwell comes in for a pick. Lavoie surveying his options. Bounces the ball as he's got the middle court. Jorgensen again not giving him a lane, so Caldwell comes in to help out. Jorgensen undaunted, attacks him. Looking for an overplay, he can't find it. Now he's going to take the outside route. Finds Hirschfield on the inside. And is able to get a point there.
Yeah, Canada was able to score against the key, but I think that Fabs needed to do a little bit better job of attacking to try to draw the defense to him to let Canada set up their play.
Fredrickson quickly back the other way with Jorgensen. That was easily done. It's 7-12 to go in the first quarter, tied at 1 here. Lavoie trying to beat the heat of Fredrickson. He's able to spin a couple times and do that. Jorgensen on him. Now he's double teamed. Not quite over half. Now he gets there. The ball goes in and Canada's in a little bit of trouble as Caldwell has it now. Double teamed, looking for an option. Goes behind the back nicely. He gets it to Morale, who gets it to Lavoie. Canada goes ahead.
Yeah, good job by Cody there. He was in a bit of a tough spot and was able to find an outlet, and Canada scored.
Kruger into Fredrickson, confidently wheeling with some sturdy strides all the way through.
It's a couple of pretty easy press breaks for Denmark. I think Canada is going to need to tighten up their defense a little bit here, see if they can find some better matchups through transition.
A little bit of an equipment issue as Lavoie is just having his tire looked at, but it appears we are good to go here as you see the tie-ups on the defensive end. Canada with the inbound here. Lavoie gets it. He's got a little bit of a lane as Fredrickson reaching in on him.
Penalty for reaching in there.
So the penalties for our listeners are 1 minute penalty or until the attacking team is able to score.
We'll see what Canada does here if they try to force Sebastian to inbound.
There's
Looks
a
like
long
they're going to.
lob to Morale, just making sure that things are taken care of as he slowly takes that one in. Some heavy traffic as Fredrickson's looking to inbound. Woof, tough pass to Jorgensen there, but he's able to reel it in and find a little bit of space. Beats the heat of a few Canadian players, now makes contact with Lavoie.
Yeah, it's like for my show, it's like missing. Like there's so many things that get missed in stories.
6:22 to go in the opening quarter. Canada with an early 3-2 lead, but solid game so far.
A character like hitting something and while they're driving, and like their reaction to it. Make you think. Ready one.
Inbounding the ball is Kruger. Able to get it to Jorgensen. He does score, so that penalty is now over. Back to even strength. Lavoie looking for an option, and that is a turnover. Good read by Fredrickson stepping in between there, and he takes it right in.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake there by the inbounder for Canada.
Lavoie now trying to make amends for that. Last play for Canada is able to wheel hard. He's got a lane. Fredrickson doing a good job, and Jorgensen now double teaming him. Doesn't have much of an option. Now he finds Morale deep in the court as he was coming from the defensive end and had a lane all the way to the net. And was that last turnover by Canada just a case of not really being aware, or what do you put that on?
Yeah, I think that that Fabs just obviously misread which way one of his players was going to go and put the ball straight into the other team's hands.
Fredrickson able to put the Deans ahead for now, and Morale on the inbound for Canada. We have a little bit of an equipment malfunction as Jorgensen's tire, something's up with it, and these pit crews are so quick. Sometimes they'll change a tire and it takes about 10 seconds and you almost don't even know during the play.
Yeah, well, you do have only 1 minute to fix an equipment issue. So these guys do need to be quick, and most of them are volunteers and do a fantastic job for their teams.
I liken them to pit people in the car races almost.
Yeah.
As Canada with a nice pass ahead, and Lavoie is able to
Yeah.
put that one in.
Yeah, that was a nice easy goal for Canada, using its strength, being able to move the ball to 3 of its players.
And again,
Oh,
Fredrickson
danger
now
zone.
pressured hard, double teamed. What's he going to do? He's able to field one ahead to Jorgensen. Jorgensen's got Kruger with him, who gives him a pick, and that enables Jorgensen's easy point.
Yeah, good job by Leon there to move up the court and follow his pick, and then break when the opportunity arose.
Morrow inbound. Able to get it to Caldwell. Oh, there's hard contact for Moreau, and he goes down.
Yeah, Travis doing a crack block there for Cody to allow him to come up the court. Ran into the solid trunk of Leon and paid the price.
Yes, and I know they do say, like, when you fall and take the big contact to tuck your head in, but that doesn't always work when you take contact when you're not expecting it. You're almost not thinking. So I'm surprised that players don't hit their head on the floor a little bit more.
Well, it does become instinctual for you to tuck your head up when you're going down.
Same as for me being on crutches. When I go, that's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Lavoie here
Oh,
is able to get a nice pick from Hirschfield, and that gets Canada back to square at 6. 4:59 to go in a entertaining opening quarters. Fredrickson works back the other way for the Danes, is able to get an outside lane and just use it all the way, as no one's going to be able to catch him there.
no, very fast.
And it's
Tough to
really,
stop.
what I've noticed too, is it's all about getting that momentum in the backcourt and using that to your advantage. Once you come forward, it's harder to stop once you get those wheels really moving.
Well, if the lane's there and you're able to take advantage of your speed, then yeah, it's very hard to stop these guys once they get going.
Caldwell double team, but makes a good play in the middle again to Lavoie, who's been very noticeable for Team Canada early in this one. And now him and Jorgensen do a bit of jousting. But it will be Kruger with the inbound. Gets it to Fredrickson. A couple of Canadians on him, but it seems like they're going over top of the double coverage and finding those middle lanes quite easily.
Yeah, your first option when you get the ball down low is to try to pop it over top of the defense to find that outlet, and Denmark did a good job of it there.
Caldwell contacted hard there by Jorgensen. Kruger trying to help him, but he shimmies and shakes and finds a lane. Now he makes his own pass down court. Fredrickson was hard charging there, but ultimately Moreau able to put that home. Kruger with the inbound for Denmark as there's jockeying for position. Jorgensen in the middle of the court using his big arms to spin back and forth, but he's ultimately locked down at least for a second. Lavoie trying to stay with him, but he gets a pick there from Pay, so a nice play by Pay to allow his man to get in.
My mom and my sister are teachers. Always get respected.
Canada inbound once more. There's a heavy traffic. He doesn't look like he has a man, but he goes into the middle. Finds Hirschfield back to Moreau, and over the top here is Caldwell.
Yeah.
Nice play there by Team
Nice.
Canada. Good execution.
Yeah, they struggled with the screen to get the ball into their number one, and Trevor was able to switch to the give and go, and then they popped the ball deep to score an easy goal.
And how hard is it when you have only that 12 seconds to get out over half, and the first few seconds isn't going so well, not to panic and just trust your instinct?
Well, you've got to trust your instincts and be smart about it. Use your timeouts if you're in trouble. We're early in the game. No reason to not use them.
None have been used so far as Fredrickson to Jorgensen, and Denmark keeping their 1 point lead that they've had. The quarter's just been going back and forth so far. Only the one turnover by Team Canada.
I think we have a 1 meter violation on the Danish low pointer.
3:39 to go opening quarter. 10-9 for the Danes.
Thompson's got green free.
Substitutions for Canada. Whitehead is in. Lavoie is out.
So Lavoie have been pretty noticeable so far, but he's going to take a breather. And Whitehead, the elder statesman for Team Canada. He gets the ball. He's got those long arms. Looking for a pass, but he's contained pretty well by Kruger. Now he gets away. Looking over top. Finds Morale. Hirschfield trying to help him. Back to Whitehead. He's got a lane as Hirschfield was finally able to get the pick he wanted. And works well there. So you're mentioning the Danes using their bench yesterday so far haven't made a single substitution.
Not yet.
So we'll see what happens. As Pay looking for a play, he's having trouble finding one. A little bit of a risky pass, but Jorgensen's able to field it in on a double team. Then Pay with a nice pick. Goes over the top, Fredrickson, and he's going to have all day with that one, and we'll see the lockups on transition going the other way. Caldwell. Inbound for Canada. Hirschfield back to him, and Canada likes that play, going a little short and then back to the original inbounder.
Yep.
Caldwell, Whitehead, Morale in open court. Morao's been all around. He's been in the defensive end. He's been up front, so
Yep.
doing yeoman's work.
Yeah.
Fredrickson now for the Danes. He's got to get through a lot of traffic. Caldwell tried to back into him, didn't work. Goes over the top to Jorgensen. And he'll score. Morale. Whitehead contacted hard. Good job by Pay to try to stay with him. But he's able to get away. He's got a man open. It's Caldwell down, but he's double teamed. What's he going to do? Spins around, takes the middle lane. Caldwell still open. Now he gets the ball. And he's able to convert.
Good job by Canada. Continue to use its outlets, score easy goals once it gets the ball over half. See if they can put the Danes in some trouble here on defense.
Kruger to Fredrickson. He has a middle lane. He's attacked by Hirschfield, and Caldwell is able to slow him up. What can they do? Fredrickson still with it. Trying to get the middle. Oh! Whitehead, it looked like, got a piece of that, so it might be a Danish ball still, but good work by Canada to pressure there and almost turn the ball over.
Yeah, I thought that the Danish team struggled a little bit yesterday with their key attack against the U.S. It's showing to be a difficult goal for them there, although
yeah, wasn't sure if that made it in. Yeah.
Thought we might see a little bit more key from Canada this morning, and maybe that'll come.
Yeah, they made a real big adjustment in that game versus Sweden. They were kind of giving Sweden the long ball in the first half, and in the second, their kind of layered pressure was relentless, and it really worked out for them.
Yeah, they put Sweden into a lot of trouble in danger zones.
Caldwell gets away from the heat, and he hears it from the pretty much capacity crowd on hand here this Friday morning. Not a lot of empty seats.
No, a lot of kids not in school and out here cheering on wheelchair rugby, which is what
making noise. Yeah, exactly. Danes now over top. Jorgensen is going to be in a little bit of trouble, but beats it pretty well. As Kruger's helping him out. And he looked like he was going to be in trouble on a double team, but pretty confidently took that middle lane.
Yeah, well, Canada's...
Morale, Whitehead on the inbounds, got Caldwell down court. A little bit of a slow pass, but it's not going to matter because he's got all day with it. Jorgensen now trying to lock him up. It's Kruger. A little bit of a scary pass to Fredrickson. Right over the top. Here's Jorgensen. Contacted hard by Hirschfield. He's just going to delay a little bit. Oh, no.
They called a reach on Trevor, which is tough considering it gave her a penalty goal, so I thought they were going to put him in the box.
Would you rather a penalty goal or a penalty?
Well, it's better for Canada for a penalty goal because if they put him in the box there, it allows Denmark to control the clock and set up last goal.
A little bit of a risky pass to Whitehead, but he's able to get it to Hirschfield, that gets it to Morale, and a couple nice passes. Instead of doing the long ball, they do a couple in the middle, and it really opens things up. So Canada doing a good job of that here in the first quarter. 1 minute exactly to go, 15-15 in an entertaining morning affair as Fredrickson has it.
Denmark might try to score quick here, so they still have that last goal option.
And they do.
Canada really didn't want to allow them to score that fast.
Yeah, they do exactly that as Fredrickson using his speed there. And we will see, as Adam mentioned, some clock management here. The Danes still up by 1. We have an equipment issue here.
Denmark does get the ball to start the second quarter, so if they are able to score last goal here, that will possibly allow them to stretch this lead out to 2 goals. So
would be a big play, but here's Canada, and Whitehead fields that one down. Wheeling, he's got some traffic to contend with. Hirschfield doing a good job of helping him out, get away from a couple picks. Kruger's on him, so stop his forward momentum. Now we're locked up for a piece, and Caldwell drops the ball. It's loose, but Canada, Caldwell himself is able to atone, or is he?
No, that's going to be over and back on Canada. You can't knock the ball into the back court and then pick it up again.
So it is a turnover.
Unfortunate for Cody there for the ball to just slip out of his hands. Must have just lost focus for a second.
Whitehead reaching in hard, trying to get that turnover back. And they almost do.
Oh, and Canada's able to get back. Good job by Whitey to put pressure on the ball there.
And it ends up back in Caldwell's lap. Pressure hard. Lips one over the top, gets it to Whitehead. He's contacted, but he's able to keep moving forward as again, Hirschfield doing a good job helping him out. And it looked like Jorgensen knocked the ball away there, but I'm not sure what they're calling.
Yeah, ball was checked out off Whitey's lap. With 3.7 seconds to go, Canada will try to execute a last-second goal here.
So both teams really competing hard on the ball, realizing, like you were saying, these last couple of possessions can be key in the grand scheme of things, but Whitehead able to convert on a nice pass there.
Good job by Canada.
2.8 to go, and the Danes will try a long bomb. No, they'll just eat the clock. Pretty entertaining quarter here, Adam. It's been quite a treat that the fans and us have been given this morning.
Yeah, both teams are sort of executing their game plan, I think. Canada is distributing the ball between its number 1, 2, and 3, while as Denmark is really, its high pointers are really carrying the extended play. Not a lot of mistakes in that quarter until the end of the last goal there. Kind of got a little bit sloppy by both teams. Maybe a little bit excited, so.
Yeah, they were still hungry, just the execution may not have quite have been there in the end. Though it's a good quarter, and we should see more of the same going forward. While we're at it, we should give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors here that make this great event possible. If we could start with the Government of Canada, of course, the Richmond Olympic Oval, the Sheridan Airport Hotel, and the Hilton Vancouver Airport as well. And we'll thank them and some other sponsors as we move forward in this tournament. So Adam, what do we expect? It's a tie. Do you expect much of the same? Do you expect at all that the Danes will maybe make some substitutions? You think they might have to at some point?
I will. Well, yeah, I think they're going to have to use their bench at some point because you can't run the same 4 players all game. Which is what happened with Sweden yesterday. They ran the same lineup pretty much for the first 3 quarters, and Sweden tended to hit a wall and hit 3 or 4 turnovers in a row. And same thing would happen here to the Danes. They will have to use their bench. It looks like they're coming out with a balanced lineup, 3-5-2-2.5. So. And
like you were saying with Canada yesterday, I found that once they got a few point lead on the Swedes, their bodies were tired, but their minds got tired as well.
At the midpoint of that third quarter, they had those 3 turnovers in a row, and really the game was over from that point on.
So we do, one substitution for Team Denmark. It's Christian Bach-Erickson in for the Danes.
And Canada has switched to its high-low, 3-3-1-1.
But Fredrickson is able to take that one over and in. So they get the lead back as Whitehead coming. Bach-Erickson trying to cut him off, stops him, reaches in. Now he's triple teamed, but he's able to go over to the top to Hirschfield and get it in.
Yeah, some good speed by the Danes there to track down Whitey and force him to distribute the ball.
Bach-Erickson going to inbound here. Fredrickson giving him an out. Now Canadians trying to stop it, but Fredrickson back to get it. Double team, so he takes the middle lane. Good job by Pay to help him out. Whitehead trying to cut Fredrickson off, get some speed. Good job by Lavoie, but over the top to Bach-Erickson, who was able to score. Hirschfield, inbound. A little bit of a risky pass. It looked like he had a man on him, but it works out perfectly. As Lavoie is away with Whitehead, but Lavoie takes it all the way.
Yep. Fab's it's hard to track down when he gets going full speed.
And he was a guy I didn't know much about coming in, but he's certainly already made his impact pretty early in this one.
Yeah, Fabs has been on the Canadian team since I think about 2003 was when he first made the team. So definitely a veteran for the team.
As here's Schittel with the puck, with the, ball, I'm used to hockey, for Denmark, and he's able to put that one in. And now a couple Dane players trying to tie up Lavoie on the back end, but he's able to get it to Hirschfield. Hirschfield's got a man in pursuit, it's Fredrickson, so he's got to stop up and protect the ball. Now he's got his man with him, and instead goes back over the top to Whitehead. He finds Lavoie, and again into the game for Canada that we haven't mentioned is Desjardins. Lavoie now fields it in. Looks like he might have taken some contact, but undaunted, he's able to take that in.
Turnover by Denmark on the inbound there. Allows Canada to take a lead.
Bach-Erickson finds his man, moving forward. He's got Fredrickson in the back court. And that was a nice pass there by Schittel as he's able to find Fredrickson. 20 apiece, 6:32 to go, second quarter. Bach-Erickson making life difficult. Turns over the ball, it looks like. Schittel trying to get it. I don't know if he can field it in. It's loose now. A big battle. Looks like the referees aren't even quite sure who was in possession.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what she called there. I didn't quite see what happened on the turnover. It looked like the...
yeah, there was a dog pile and the ball was down low, so it's hard to see.
Oh, they've given the ball to Denmark.
So big play there by the Danes to atone for their turnover not too long ago. So it seems like every time one team makes a turnover, the other one follows it right after. So no team's really able to make the other team pay quite as much as they want from those.
Yeah, you really obviously don't want to give the ball back once you've created a turnover, but it does happen, I suppose.
Bach-Erickson looking for an outlet. Finds one in Schittel. Oh, he reached back with one arm. Looked like it made it take a hop on him, but he's able to reel it in. He's got some heavy traffic to contend with. Finds Fredrickson. Fredrickson again, that outside lane, and he's going to take it in. So the Danes able to capitalize on that one there, that turnover, and reestablish the 1 point advantage they've shared much of this match. As Whitehead back the other way, contact Schittel, and he goes down. And the pit crew will be summoned. But as you can see, even when these falls and equipment things happen, the players are still usually gonna battle on the other end.
Yeah, he fell over right in front of Mike there, so the referees deemed him to be in a dangerous situation and stopped the play.
Oh, okay then. So it's a Canada ball. Hirschfield finds Lavoie. Bouncing the ball, slowing things down. surveying his options, decides to take it himself. Get some contact. Whitehead doing a good job of eliminating, but Buck Erickson and Schittle do a good job of converging on Lavoie, who has to bounce the ball. Puts it in his lap and spins. Fredrickson trying to help him out, but he can't do it. Now a good job again by Whitehead picking off his man. Can Fredrickson stop this? Looks like he almost got a piece, but he's able to find his man there in the deep court. That's Desjardins, and quickly back the other way come the Danes. Fredrickson. Whitehead just doing a tremendous job of pressure, but Undaunted finds Buck Erickson. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to catch up with that one, but he does. Hirschfield to Whitehead. Now to Lavoie. He's got some time with that one.
3 quick goals in a row.
Buck Erickson. Finds Schittle. Good pick there from Pay. Oh! I was mentioning the pressure of Whitehead, and there he causes a turnover. Just trying to protect the ball from 2 men. Able to use his long arms and find Lavoie. Lavoie's got a lane. So Canada and Whitehead just doing a good job of pressuring, causing a turnover there. Can they make this one stick and not turn the ball over to...
Yeah, great job for Whitey to check the ball off the player's lap there. You know, some guys you really got to be cognizant of their ability to reach when you've got the ball, and Mike's one of them. Trevor is another one for Canada. You've got to be so quick at swiping the ball off your lap.
One thing I noticed with Bond from Australia is when he's checking you, he'll almost go easy on you to give you a false sense of security, then he'll quickly come at you. So.
Yeah.
Oh! True to form, almost another turnover, but it goes off Fredrickson and out, so it will be a Canada ball.
Yeah, not too many people are tall enough to stuff Michael, but obviously Sebastian was able to pull it off there.
Caldwell back in the game, replacing Hirschfield as well. Looks like maybe Whitehead maybe coming out, or will he be?
No, back to the 3-2-2-1 with Fabian and Pico.
So Morale back on now. Gets it to Lavoie. Caldwell out with him, as well as Desjardins. Lavoie faking pass. Conversion on. Fredrickson trying to make life difficult, as well as Kruger. But he's able to get it over the top to Caldwell, who will score.
Good job of Pico to seal the corner there, and Fabs to find Cody behind him.
Also on is Scalbo, number 6 for Denmark. Over the top goes Fredrickson. Finds Kruger. And also into the game is Peters, number 11 on Denmark. Scabau trying
Cody
to make
running out of time here. Oh, sorry.
Trying to make life difficult there, and Team Canada is able to get it to Cody Caldwell, who is able to score. To Caldwell making an early impact after his re-injection.
Yeah, Canada was getting close to its 12 seconds to get the ball over half. Good job by Cody to find an outlet, and
Peters reels that one in, getting his first touch of the ball in this game. And his first touch, he's got some speed, goes over to Fredrickson, and Fredrickson's the only player for Denmark who hasn't left the game so far.
yeah, often teams' number 1s will remain on the court for most of the game. Denmark appears to be no different.
Morale, nice pass as he's triple teamed there, is kind of leaning on one wheel. Is able to get it ahead to Desjardins, who gets it to Caldwell. Peters.
Nice job of Denmark to attack Travis right on the center line and force him to make a dangerous pass in a danger zone.
Now here's Lavoie as he's being urged on by the crowd here. One hands it in, and Desjardins rears it in. Peters in a lot of trouble there, just able to get that one as he was double teamed by Caldwell and Morale.
reaching in foul on Travis. Don't really like to see those in that situation. Ball wasn't really going anywhere, so no need to bail them out.
So Kruger with the inbound. Fredrickson gets a nice pick from Skabao and over the top to Peters. Using his long arms there and making sure things are attended to on the other side of the court before he ultimately does score. .235 to go, second quarter, and we're in for another close one here as we're tied at 26. Neither team has used a timeout yet.
No. All four are up for both teams. Easy goal for Canada.
Lavoie converting there. Kruger on the inbound. Looking for his option. Goes short there to Peters. Skabao trying to help him, but he's double teamed. He needs some help on the other side. Makes a good pass there to Fredrickson. He's got a little bit of room. Got to pick up his speed, which he does.
Second possession in a row where the ball has ended up trapped in a corner with the 3-5 from Denmark, and they've had to struggle to get the ball over half.
Now Canada with a wide pass ahead. And Lavoie will convert, and seems like he's managing his speed a little bit. He's not quite going full tilt, but he's doing what he has to maintain his energy.
No, Canada is doing a great job moving the ball up the court.
We've got a equipment issue. I believe it's Caldwell.
Looks like Denmark is going to try to double team Canada's low pointer so they can man up Canada's number 1 and number 2.
Inbounding Morale. Gets it back. He's got a little bit of a lane. He's got Lavoie in the open court. That's where he's going to go. So Canada is showing good execution here in the last few minutes.
Yeah. Down. We're down to the last 147, so I'm sure we'll start to see the teams manage the clock here to sub last goal again.
Kruger to Peters. Absorbs some contact. Morale is able to cut him off close to the goal line, so he spins around. Spins again, takes the middle lane. Gets a nice pick from Kruger, but he is going to have to contend with someone. That was Dejanay, but I'm not sure what they've called here.
They've called pushing on the Denmark team, which is going to be a turnover, which I can hear the bench from Denmark complaining, as Peters did have the ball there. You don't generally see a push called when the player has the ball.
What can Canada do with this? Whitehead fields one inbound from Caldwell. He's going to come out wide side of the court. But it goes to Morale. He looked like he was in a bit of trouble, able to field it down. Caldwell again wanting the ball and is open, but Morale decides to carry as he's double teamed there by Peters and Kruger. Bounces the ball. Looking for an option. He looks like he might be in a bit of trouble here, but he spins away again. Good job by Morale. What a play. Able to find Whitehead, who's now double teamed, but he's got a few options and uses Morale, and he's got that outside lane.
Yeah, Canada showing a little bit of patience to try to score with about 55 seconds to go, setting up a possible last goal scenario.
Oh, Whitehead aggressively pursuing Fredrickson. Had the ball for a second, it looked like, but Fredrickson able to hang on and keep it here. Goes to Peters. Oh, and he couldn't handle that one.
Yeah, a little bit high pass on the goal line. Obviously not able to make the play, which gives Canada the ball with 41 seconds to go and 40 seconds on the shot clock. So I'm sure we'll see a last goal.
So some big plays by Canada. Now they're up by 30 to 28 and trying to get last possessions. Whitehead moving forward. Fredrickson making life difficult for him.
Yeah, well, Canada stalling out the clock here.
Hirschfield with him. Bouncing the ball, keeping cool. Whitehead getting instructions from the bench. A little talking back and forth. Now decides to go to Caldwell. Peters converges on him, but he's able to get over the top to Morau. So they do convert there. Now it's 3-point lead for Canada.
With the ball to start the next quarter.
Fredrickson, what's he going to do here off the inbound? He's got 6.9 to go. Peters goes a short pass, converged on Hard. He's going to get it back to Fredrickson, who was contacted and goes over Hard.
Spin by Travis. With 3 seconds to go, we'll put him in the box. Probably won't have a huge impact on the end of the half here, given the amount of time left in the quarter. But Travis will probably have to start the third quarter in the penalty box unless Denmark's able to.
Was that one of the ones you don't want to take there if you're Travis? Or
I think that that particular penalty will not have a big impact in this game. I thought that earlier on, when Mike was reaching here just before Denmark turned the ball over, that was a higher risk play, given that you don't really want Mike in the box at the end of the quarter. But once again, no real impact on the play.
So as you mentioned, Canada will start the second half with the ball. So big play. They were able to get a lead after it was tied. So they have a 3-point lead now, 31-28, and start with the ball. So that is a big advantage.
Yeah, Canada was able to separate themselves a little bit. At the end of both quarters, we've seen a little bit of sloppy play, a little bit of turnovers. So we'll see what happens here in the second half, is if Denmark's able to clean their game up a bit, see if they can create some turnovers. No team's used any timeouts yet.
Yeah, that's
odd.
Incredible. Yeah, and you wonder how long for the Danes, at least till you see Jorgensen back on the court. Quite a figure.
Yeah, I would imagine that we'll see him to start this quarter.
And will they give Fredrickson any rest, do you think? Yes.
It's hard to say. I really don't know what the game plan for the coach is. Depends. I wouldn't pull him off at this point in time. I'd try and claw back in the game, but they perhaps running the other high-low lineup could be effective for them. You do want to give all your players some experience at this level. So really, Worlds is the ultimate goal.
Yes. And when is that tournament?
It's the beginning of August. So we're about 7 weeks away from start-off or tip-off. So
yeah, it's not that far away at all when you consider the international circuit. So a good time to really host this tournament to get teams ready and in that mode.
Yeah, Canada Cup has traditionally been a warm-up for teams preparing for Worlds and Paralympics. So back when we started running this tournament, Worlds was actually earlier in the summer. It's trended recently for them to be October, September, which I think is going to remain that way now. So. And
after the Worlds, when's the next time these teams will get together? Not necessarily for a tournament, but just even to get ready for something.
Well, after Worlds, so in the odd years where there's teams are they'll be preparing for Tokyo. Your peak is generally your zonal championships, and those are traditionally in the fall. September through November
of each year.
Yeah, well, every second year, right? Zonals are years 1 and 3. Worlds and Paralympics are years 2 and 4.
Oh, okay, so they always have something going on each year. Whatever. So
it might be. Canada's or the America zone, their qualifier, I believe, is in Lima for the Pan Am Games. So that will be Canada's peak in 2019.
A lot of events, and I'm sure it's quite the opportunity for the players to see different parts of the world that they wouldn't otherwise see as well, and bond with your teammates. Apparently it's better done on the road, so I'm sure and I was talking to Ian Chan, who was doing color yesterday, and he said the biggest part that he misses about not playing, and you hear this from a lot of athletes, is just being around the guys and stuff in the locker room and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you certainly build up a camaraderie with your teammates, and a lot of um, bonding is done on the road. You do spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, nowhere else to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're almost ready to get underway for the second half, but before we do, we might want to shout out a few of our sponsors here. So Visco Metalcraft, that's for custom rugby wheelchair manufacturer, and Hollister, which is a medical and containment care company, and Local 258 IBEW, that's the International Brotherhood of Electrical Engineers. So thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors who help make this event as great as it is and help us put it on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just about 1 minute as both teams are almost set to get underway. And wondering if we'll see a similar sort of pace, or will, especially with Fredrickson, I'm wondering, will he just start to tire out? You can't, everyone's human as good as you are. I mean, playing 4 quarters has got to be tough.
Playing a full game at this level definitely requires some stamina, so we'll see if he's able to pull it off. It does look like he's going to get a bit of a rest to start the third quarter here. It looks like Denmark's going to go with a 3-5-2-2.5 line. But I'm really guessing based on the 4 or 5 athletes sitting right in front of me.
And for Canada, who's really impressed me is Whitehead. He's just been all over the ball. He's been very hard in his pursuit, making good plays over the middle, handling traffic that's on him when he has the ball and all those sorts of things. So.
When Whitey's on his game, he's a steadying force out there. He's tall. He can distribute the ball. I mean, he's not the fastest player on the court, but, he's another guy that, he's been on the team since 2001, so very experienced.
Almost turns the ball over there.
Ball hit him right in the face, it looked like, from here before he caught it. Oh, Canada's going to score shorthanded. Start the third here, excuse me.
So that is a
4-goal lead.
Good start, yeah, definitely for Canada. They extend their lead by 4 early on. Shorthanded, as you mentioned, so an extra bonus. And now it's the Danes back to Eriksson over the top to Peters, and because they're a man up, it's going to be a little bit easier for him here. And now we'll see Morale get out of the box and join the play. Caldwell going for an inbound. Some tie-ups there, trying to make life difficult and keep his options light, but he goes over the top in coverage to Whitehead. He's able to field that with his long arms.
Yep, nice pass by Cody.
Who gets it back now. Trying to get away from Pay, guys, and is able to get it to Morale, who ultimately scores. And Denmark now with the inbound, that Schittel. Able to find Peters, but he doesn't have anywhere to go, but he's able to spin and find a little bit of room. Gets a nice pick. Now he gets the middle lane.
Good job for him to get himself out of trouble there. He seems to creep down low and put himself in difficult situations after he receives the ball from the inbounder.
Yes, but he's able to find his way out of it, for the most part at least.
Yep.
Whitehead back the other way, uses those long arms again over the top to Caldwell. He's got Buck Eriksson looking to check him, but again, Morale just hiding in the backcourt there is able to find himself wide open.
Spacing. It's key to a good offensive break.
Peters using his wheels. Good job by him to recognize when to use his speed there. He does it effectively.
Yeah, much better job there.
It's going to be Morale inbounding now.
Yeah. Probably go to the...
Whitehead trying to get open. He does. Gets it. Lobs it over the top to Caldwell. Buck Eriksson is going to try to stop him, but not going to work there. And now Denmark will inbound. Schittel. Double team there. Caldwell reaches in on him. He's able to get it to Buck Eriksson. One-hands it. That's a dangerous pass. And Hirschfield, the recipient of that turnover.
Yeah, great job by Trevor to jump into the passing lane there. Once again, turnover with 4 timeouts on the clock, something a coach never likes to see.
Yeah, they may want to start using those, especially with the numbers of turnovers we have seen by both teams.
Well, and there we have our first line. Looks like Denmark's going to sub here, go back to its starting lineup.
So offer Peters, Schittel, back Eriksson, I believe. Canada has widened their lead. They're up 36-31 now. 6:24 to go in the third quarter. So a good start to be able to score shorthanded. We're Canada. And
yeah, scoring those first and last goals of the quarters are huge momentum changers in the game, or have the potential to be at least. And there's a mistake.
Kruger, just like the ball slipped out of his hands as he tried to inbound off his wheel, and Canada is able to get it.
It's like his hands don't work very well.
So an unforced turnover again, and here's Caldwell with the ball. Gets it to Lavoie. Lavoie spins around. Tries to back through but won't find a lane, so he uses Caldwell here. Caldwell now using the pick of Lavoie to try to get the middle, but Fredrickson doing a good job of forcing him outside. Now gets a pick from Hirschfield, and Caldwell, will he be able to score? He ultimately gets it down to Morale, and Canada scores. So, as I was mentioning about the Sweden game, once they were able to extend the lead, I noticed the mental fatigue. Are you starting to see that maybe with...
I'm starting to wonder if that's going to happen to the team from Denmark here. If now that we're getting late in the game, if fatigue is going to catch up with them physically and mentally. They have been running more than one lineup, so it shouldn't be a factor, but just depends on how hard they're training back home.
Caldwell, Morale. Using Hirschfield again as to get a little bit of space. Caldwell helping him out as well. And he's able to get by. Over the top to Lavoie. Canada, just good job of execution there and moving steadily forward here. They've got a 6-point lead now, 38-32, 5:22 to go in the third quarter. Jorgensen. He's got a man open, it's Fredrickson, but decides not to give him the ball and carry it himself as Lavoie attacks him, and Hirschfield comes in as well. He's double teamed. He's going to need some help, so what's he going to do here?
Yeah, those little decisions not to distribute the ball when your teammate's wide open, although it didn't really hurt Denmark there, made it much more difficult to score than it needed to be.
Yeah, it looked like they weren't quite ready for it, and everyone had to adjust their course of action. They were able to do it that time, but...
Yeah.
Caldwell getting out of his zone, does a nice lateral pass there to Morale. Jorgensen trying to cut him off. He does a good job. But again, Hirschfield doing a great job of picks. Is able to give him some space.
Yeah, it's so much easier as a high pointer when you have a really good picking low pointer to follow up the court. And Trevor is certainly one of those.
Kruger set to inbound for the Danes, but it looks like we have a loose wheel before we get underway here.
Equipment timeout.
It is the inbounder, Kruger, so there you see the gamesmanship. Everyone's still kind of trying to tie each other up.
Yeah, transition, trying to create an advantage for your team before the ball comes in.
See what Kruger has up his sleeve. Goes short there to Fredrickson. He's in coverage. Goes to Jorgensen. He's in a bit of trouble as Hirschfield almost rejected that, but he's able to maintain his body position and field in the ball. Now doing a good job of beating a couple checks, getting over center. He's in a good position here as he's moving the ball forward, and a nice little non-contact pick by Fredrickson there.
Good work by Leon to get the Denmark team a goal there.
Caldwell. Hirschfield, Caldwell. Jorgensen keeping him in the back post. He's looking for an option. He doesn't have one.
Yeah, it's tough when you run the give and go like that and the ball carrier gets stopped and there's nowhere for him to advance the ball. Puts a lot of pressure on the offense. Good decision to take a timeout there.
But how good do you feel if you're Canada? I mean, You've got the lead here, it's a 5-point lead, but you've got 4 timeouts as well, so you don't really have to force things this third quarter already. So.
No, I'm very I don't want to say the word impressed, but one of the things that I've seen with Canada over the last few years is they've had a lot of unforced turnovers, and this is the second game in a row where I think they've done a really good job of minimizing the unforced errors that they've made in this game. So let's hope they keep that up.
Fabian Lavoie absorbs contact from Jorgensen, keeps moving forward, and again, Hirschfield. Seems like we're on a broken record here, making a good pick and allowing Canada to score. 6-point lead for Canada, just over 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Impressive start to this quarter and second half by Canada. Jorgensen contacts with Hirschfield hard, but able to maintain, bounce the ball, and go to Fredrickson. Fredrickson's got him in a lane there, and he will score. Morale, Lavoie, pursued hard by Fredrickson. Spins and spins again.
Oh, he's in.
That was a risky pass, I would say.
Yeah, you'd really much rather see him use a timeout there than try and force the ball down into the corner with somebody in the passing lane.
Especially when you're late in the third and you still have 3 of them.
Yeah, no need to make those decisions.
It is still a Canada ball, though.
No.
Oh, it is. Sorry, it's hard to see all the way down court sometimes.
There is some stuff in our way, there's for sure.
There's Fredrickson, and Fredrickson will make this one count.
So I was just saying that happy with the unforced errors by Canada. Unfortunately, they decided that they would have one. So, but still got a 4-goal cushion here, so no need to panic yet.
Morale.
Good pass and pop.
Whitehead trying to beat the hit of Kruger. Now Fredrickson comes to join the party, reaches in hard. Denmark doesn't seem to be happy with the call, but there will be a penalty on Fredrickson there.
Well, and that's another one of those penalties where, they hit 31 seconds on the shot clock, so they only had 3 more seconds to advance the ball over to half. Why are you reaching in that situation anyway? You're just helping the offense out.
Whitehead bouncing. Thomas Pay trying to help, but Caldwell is going to get this one. Timeout here, coach's timeout by Team Denmark.
Want to talk it over, remind their players.
Yeah, there might be
good habits.
a few things that both coaches want to say.
Yeah. I'm sure Pat's reminding Canada that they've got timeouts left, just to follow the process. It seems to be working.
Always liking those timeouts to kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card.
They are a get-out-of-jail-free card. One of the things that I think that we're going, I my own personal opinion, I don't like the get-out-of-jail-free timeouts. Next year at our local tournament, the Vancouver Invitational, I think we might try and actually run the tournament without those timeouts.
Not a single one, eh?
Well, you'll still have the coaches' timeouts, but there'll be no. You'll be able to use timeouts during a dead ball. So say if you're inbounding and nobody's open, you can use a timeout then. But once the ball is live.
If you're, exactly, when play is on. That would be an interesting aspect. I think it would change the game quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, well, it will change the game, and we're always looking for ways to try to make it a little bit easier for defense. And as a coach, there's nothing more frustrating than having a great quarter and really hammering the other team, and yet the score's tied because they've used 3 timeouts, and actually it's not really cost them anything. So
yeah, it's understandable for sure. As ahead go the Canadians. Caldwell fields out. Nice one in from Morale. Gets away easily from Pay there. Jorgensen trying to be the last line of defense to interrupt him, but he's not able to do it. 2:39 to go. Third quarter. 42-37 for Canada. Denmark trying a huge comeback to avoid going 0-2 in this tournament. Well, Canada is trying to do the opposite and go to 2-0.
Oh, another turnover.
Ends up in Whitehead's hands and is able to get it to Morale, who will convert. So apparently the coach's timeout didn't work as well as the Danes would have hoped.
Well, once again, another turnover in your back court with 3 timeouts on the clock. Don't need to force those balls.
Fredrickson high and ahead.
And another.
And Kruger and Jorgensen collided, lost sight of each other on the court, got their signals crossed, and it results in a turnover again for Canada. So that's 2 in quick succession.
Yeah, once again, the second half for these teams from Europe seems to, struggle, and I'm wondering about their conditioning, if they're in as good a shape as they can be.
And especially like you mentioned, they may not be used to this level of competition, so having to dig as deep as they have to dig, you don't have to go as hard. So that might be part of it as well.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see what happened there.
Canada ball here. Morale over the top. Whitehead locked down there, but he's finds that outside lane with some speed. Fredrickson trying to make life difficult as Desjardins has to turn to get that one. Nice play to do so. Get it back to Whitehead. Spins away from Peters, who's back on the court for the Danes, and he will score. Also back on the court for the Danes is Sabao, number 6. Fredrickson.
Yeah, timeout by White. Looks like he was going to get shoved out of bounds there. One of the dangers of receiving the ball so close to the goal line, you are in a danger zone.
The Danes showing a little bit of frustration here.
Well, I think the end of this quarter is important for them. Obviously, they can't afford to turn the ball over anymore. If they are able to, I think Canada's going to start. No, Denmark's going to start the quarter with the ball. So if they are able to score last goal here, they can creep within 1 goal closer to Canada. See if we can make it an exciting fourth quarter.
Peters to Fredrickson, back over the top, a long pass to Peters, executed very well.
Yeah, scoring at 135, so that does set them up for a last goal situation if that's what they choose.
What does Canada have up its sleeve here? Is Caldwell set for the inbound. Whitehead looks to be his option, so he goes there. Backing away from Peters. Getting that outside route with some speed and a pick from Caldwell. He's got Desjardins with him. Desjardins sets the pick. Back over the top there. Caldwell. Peters, cutting him off. Looks like he might have got a hand somewhere in the body, maybe the face, but Undaunted makes a play there. Whitehead backing in with the ball. Over the top to Caldwell. Conversion there with 1:05 to go.
Yeah. Look for Denmark to try to score quickly here.
That one volleyed up and ahead, right to Peters. That's some nice work there by Kruger.
Yeah, that was a nice inbound by that low pointer. Pretty accurate bump.
Spinning again as Peters got a middle lane, so we'll use it. 51.8 to go. Morale, Whitehead. Gets lost on the pick there by the Danes. And reaching in was Fredrickson, and he's the one who ends up going down.
Oh, that's going to be tough for the Denmark team, because that's going to reset the shot clock, which will allow Canada to bring the clock right down, make it very tough for the white team to score last goal.
This might be one of the longest breathers Fredrickson's had all game.
That's right.
43.1 to go. Shot clock, of course, at 40, so you're right. Won't leave much time after this possession.
I'm surprised they're going to sit in the key here. You probably want to pressure Canada. You're down by 6. It's only 1 quarter to go. I mean, if they get the stop, I suppose it'll work for them. But, why give Canada a free inbound?
Morale spinning back, using a lane. Scabao trying to thorn him at the goal line. So Whitehead does a good job of forcing her out of the equation. And Morale just trying to use as much of the clock as he can. Caldwell looks up at the clock. Now he does score, 4.7 to go. Canada with a 7-point lead. Do the Danes have a long lob? Looks like they might just eat it here.
They're just gonna run the clock down. So Denmark trailing by 7. We'll start with the ball at the beginning of the 4th quarter. So as long as they convert.
So the first half was extremely close, but after each quarter, Canada's expanded its lead since then and have a 7-point advantage now. So if you're Denmark, I mean, it's not impossible for them to come back, but even if taking the wins and losses out of it, what do you need to see from them as a coach and as a group? Because you're not just playing for this game, you're playing for the rest of the tournament to develop right habits, and like you said, to be able to compete at this high level for an entire 4-quarter game.
Well, yeah, I mean, Coach Rieger will obviously have some sort of game plan. If I was him, I would be looking for my team to just execute like the game was close. So even though, just play the game like it's 46-46 and win the 4th quarter would be my goal going into it here.
Develop those good habits for sure.
That's right. You have, although it's not ideal to have 2 timeouts going into the 4th quarter with all those turnovers, you have them. So once again, you use this situation to your advantage. What can you gain out of it? Can you win that 4th quarter? Can you score? Can you manage the clock to score that last goal that would simulate giving you a win in a game when you're at Worlds?
Exactly, and for each one of these games is so competitive, and like you mentioned, it's really a dress rehearsal for the Worlds. But it is a world-class tournament in itself. You were mentioning that Denmark, they have a couple timeouts. Canada still has 3, I believe. So we saw, for sure, there was one turnover where Canada could have easily used a timeout there, and they didn't. So on the flip side of what you were saying about Denmark, even though Canada's ahead, you can't maybe just take a relaxed approach when you're up by this much. You want to focus in and still develop those right habits even though you're ahead and not.
Yeah, you never take a relaxed approach at this level. Even when you're playing teams where you're going to outclass them and can win by as much as you want, you always have to focus on getting something out of every game because you don't want your guys to start developing bad habits. So there'll be no lack of focus, I'm quite sure.
So into the game for Canada is Anthony Letourneau, his first tour of duty here.
Yeah, first minutes for Anthony, new Class 2 for Canada. Pretty good speed for a Class 2. Not a lot of experience yet, so we'll see how he does.
That might be a turnover for Canada, I believe.
I think that they're going to call it checked out and give the ball to White.
So it is the Danes with possession. Buck Erickson. Converged on hard by Caldwell. He's got one hand on the ball. A good job of Lavoie reaching in, but I think it might have gone out off him, but good pressure nonetheless.
Yeah. Denmark's all stuck in this corner here with nowhere to go. Now they've spaced out a bit.
Buck Erickson again using that one hand, but he might want to protect the ball as Caldwell's right behind him. Now he does. Just puts it into the lap of Schittel.
10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Turnover by Canada. It's what happens when everybody kind of gets jammed into one corner and not spaced out. There's nowhere to put the ball.
Caldwell to Lavoie. Over and above the court, and that one's not going to work because Buck Erickson intercepts that pass intended for Letourneau. Canada still up by 7. 7:19 to go in the fourth quarter of this one. Canada with 3 timeouts, the Danes with 2. Yeah, I expect they wouldn't be used sparingly in this quarter since you've got nowhere else to use them, but surprised they haven't used a few more as this game's gone on. As Fredrickson back the other way, decides not to use the pick from Schittle and just will take that one in.
Six-goal game here.
Letourneau inbounding the ball. Lavoie is covered, but he goes to Hirschfield and back over to Letourneau. Over the top to Lavoie, and that's out of his reach, and Buck Erickson couldn't corral it at first. But now the Danes regain possession, and Fredrickson scoops it up before it goes out of bounds, but he's locked in there. He decides to use a timeout as a result.
Back-to-back turnovers by Canada here. It's not the way you want the fourth quarter to go.
And in Letourneau's case, is it just, he's going in pretty cold in the fourth quarter. Is it just going in cold?
It could be cold. It could be nerves. The first one I would say was probably a pass that Fabs shouldn't have tried to execute. That one there, just that play needs to be made at this level for sure.
Fredrickson beats the heat, and again from Lavoie.
Trevor's got such quick hands. Really got to protect the ball around him.
Yes, he's good job of shutting those lanes down as well. It's Lavoie looking for an option as he's double teamed by Buck Erickson and is able to get that ahead to Letourneau. Letourneau now back to Lavoie. Over the top there, Caldwell, and again hiding in backcourt, and the Canadians have done that a lot, hiding a man just right on the back post there and able to find him pretty wide open.
Well, when you're running a balanced lineup and you've got 3 good sets of hands out there, it's important to keep your space and be an outlet.
Fredrickson able to build that speed, use those big arms, and again convert for the Danes. 47-42 for the Canadians, 6:16 to go in front of this home crowd at the Richmond Olympic Oval on a Friday morning as Lavoie has it. Can't quite get over center.
Not spaced out very well.
Letourneau. He's over center now. He finds a lane. Is good job of Caldwell and Hirschfield to help him out. Now Caldwell gets the ball. Pressed hard by Buck Erickson, and he's forced almost a couple turnovers. He's done really well for the Danes in this quarter.
Yep.
We mentioned you want to have those good habits, and he's shown them.
Yeah, no, both teams are working hard. Timeout by Canada. With 9 seconds to go, that'll give them 15 seconds on the shot clock, so a little bit longer to try and get that ball in. It looks like Whitey's going to come in for Fabs. Pico for Trevor. Well, maybe not.
So, here's Whitehead back in the game and been one of the better Canadians this morning. And a few subs again for the Danes as well as Buck Erickson is off after having a good couple minutes there as well as Schittle.
Yeah, he's effective in that defensive chair. He's got some good speed, able to apply great pressure on defense.
Pay is also off. Caldwell over the top to Whitehead. Those long arms, long limbs come in handy there.
4 in the key. Yeah, it's not hard to find Whitey in the key.
Kruger to Peters. Looking for somewhere to go. It looks like he might be in a bit of trouble, but he's able to beat the heat. Now Letourneau trying to contact him a little bit, but undaunted Peters goes ahead. Hirschfield again can't really do much with that, and Fredrickson back the other way as Whitehead gives one last swat to try to prevent that goal, but it's not going to work. Whitehead over the top, Caldwell. Hirschfield just playing blocker here, taking Fredrickson out of the equation, trying to at least. Now over the top to Whitehead, and in he goes. Just under 5 to go. Canada still has a 6 point now, lead. Kruger. Fredrickson. Peters, and he hit him in the wheel with that one. 2 Canadians are on Peters, but a great job of beating the heat, keeping his focus, absorbing the contact, and able to pick up the ball there by Peters.
I would say that would be a bounce in Denmark's direction. That could have gone either way.
Excuse me, Caldwell the other way. Letourneau. Sabao trying to stop him, but that's not going to work, and makes it go slow. He's not over center there, but he's able to get it to Caldwell. And he wheels in there for the score.
Yeah, good job by Anthony there. I thought he might get himself into a little bit of trouble with his changing his mind about his dribble that close to a center line, but at the end of the day, he's able to make a good play, and Canada scores.
Peters again in open court. Great job by Fredrickson to hook it to him, so that seems like a play that the Danes are using. Over the top in the middle to Peters.
Yeah, the number 1 and number 2 for Denmark are definitely out-function the number 1 and number 2 for Canada, so they should be able to execute that play.
Letourneau double teamed. They get it to Whitehead. Strong hook over the top as he knew Caldwell was there.
Nice pass by Mike to find Cody deep.
Cody Caldwell has really had a great game today. He's been one of the more prominent figures in this one.
No, so far I think that the Canadians are having a good tournament. They're having the tournament they want to, I would say. They've got some tougher games coming up, so we'll see how they fare there, but so far so good.
And you know you're having a good game when there's not really anyone that you don't notice. You notice a lot of these guys in a good way, so.
Yeah. A couple of could have been betters, but at the end of the day, not too much to complain about.
For sure, as the Danes put one up there, and Caldwell again with the inbound to Whitehead. Fredrickson and Kruger on him, but he's able to get it ahead again to Caldwell. He's got Hirschfield just easing along with him, trying to take away his threats. Nice. Fredrickson reaching in. Peters and Fredrickson double teaming.
Looks like Reds called the timeout. Trevor was close to the goal line. I can't speak for all teams, but I know that sometimes you don't always like your teammates calling your timeouts for you. See what Whitey and Trevor are discussing there.
Yeah, but in this case, I mean, if you're really not sure, just with the score being what it is, as well as 3:39 to go, I mean, better safe than sorry.
Err on the side of caution. You can't take them to the next game. That's for sure.
Whitehead. There's Field in behind him, trying to pry a lane free. Goes over the top to Caldwell again.
Yep, that inbounder trap is not working very well for Denmark right now. See if they continue to apply that tactic.
Oh, one over the top as they tried to go to Peters, and Whitehead ends up with the ball, so that's another turnover for the Danes. Whitehead bounces it, goes over the top.
Yeah,
there.
Small lack of focus there by Peters to have the ball goes through his hands. Really an easy pass and should have been caught.
And the Danes have, at the next whistle, going to call a coach's timeout, but right now it's Canada with the ball. Morale. Fredrickson hard on him, but he's able to get it over the top in the middle to Whitehead, and there is Hirschfield in the backcourt. He's pressured hard by Fredrickson, but he's able to use it, accept it, get it to Whitehead, who's contacted hard. Goes back to Hirschfield. For Hirschfield, it's got to feel nice to get the odd point with as much yeoman's work as he does defensively.
I don't think Trevor really cares about his goal total very much, but you're right. I'm sure he enjoys scoring the odd goal. Looks like Denmark's going to bring out its starting lineup here to finish the game off. They use their last coach's timeout to make subs. Canada's going to put Matt Devley on the court and give him his first action here at the Canada Cup.
Number 31, 3.0. See what
balance here for Denmark. So looks like they're running under points. Finish the game.
Back Erickson, of course, in his last time before he was subbed, was doing a great job of pressure up the court. And there's the Danes wheeling out with the ball. It's Elmholm.
Wow, so I thought that was some good speed by number 2 there coming up the court, although that was a bit of an errant pass. Well, Canada's going to give it right back.
The ball is loose, and Bach Erickson ends up with it.
Reach by Pico or Travis.
So Elmholm, number 2, getting his first tour of duty, as well as I mentioned 31 for Canada. So a couple guys just trying to make an impression if they can in the last 2.5 minutes. Elmholtz trying to use his speed, but Caldwell doing a good job of not giving him an option. He goes one-handed to Bach Erickson, who's contacted hard again, but he's able to go over the top to Jorgensen. So Debley almost helping out there, but the Danes were able to score. Morale. Debley. Good pass to Caldwell in the open court. He has to reach for that one, but he fields it down nicely. So Canada will score. Just over 2 minutes to go. One timeout, players' timeout each left. Jorgensen having a hard time contending with the Canadian pressure, but he's able to spin off and get over center. Now he's got a wide open lane to the goal, and he will score.
Yeah, some good defensive pressure there by Canada. Forces Denmark to struggle to get the ball over half.
Debley. Pressure out by Bach Erickson. He's able to make a nice spin move, kind of chase the ball himself, put it in a good position. Now gets it to Morale. His middle is shut off, but he maintains possession of the ball and now gets it over the top. So Debley with his first point of the match. That's got to feel good for him as well, just coming in cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elmholtz under a lot of pressure. He one-arms it in coverage to Jorgensen, who almost looked like he was going to turn that one over, but he does beat the heat.
It's one of those. Good play there by Denmark. Probably not how they wanted to draw it up, but still able to execute. Equipment timeout.
Canada set to inbound the ball. 1:25 to go. Fourth quarter, they're up by 6, so the result isn't in doubt much now as Canada looks to improve their record to 2-0 at this Canada Cup.
Yeah, it's a good start for them. Probably the start they wanted. Like I said before, they've got Australia, Japan, and U.S. coming up now, so the matches get tougher.
All stiff competition for sure. And again, Japan with a big upset over Australia yesterday.
Well, I'm not sure it's a big upset. Australia is fielding some new low pointers, so it's going to take them a little bit of time to catch up to the level that Naz and Ryan Scott were at in Rio. Japan, I believe, did beat a similar Australian team at the Zonal Championships in 2015, leading up to the Rio Paralympics. So I'm not sure I would call it a big upset. Certainly a not necessarily a game you would have picked Japan to win, but they are close.
Oh, and Ike and Ikazaki are quite the twosome as well. And Ike is just so big in his chair. He's able to get up there, and the key, and I was talking about it with Ian at the start of that overtime, was the possession off the jump ball, and he just used that size, and that was ultimately what won the game for Japan.
First goal of overtime is huge, and if you're able to score it, I think it really gives your team an advantage in that short 3-minute window that you have.
Debley now with the ball, trying to beat the heat of Elmholtz.
Oh yeah, two players in the box for Denmark. I didn't quite see what happened for that to happen as during our conversation, but that will pretty much. I'm surprised that Canada even scored. why not just run down the clock? But obviously, the coach is working on something.
.7 to go. 57-50 lead for the Canadians. Urged on in these last few minutes by the home crowd here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. Buck Erickson. Ooh, that's a nice little head fake there.
Yeah.
He gives himself some space.
Yeah. Made Matt look a little silly, but good job by Canada to get the transition that they wanted, force the give and go. And very nice job by Denmark to break the press shorthanded.
Morale over the top, Debley. Over the top again to Morale, and one more time in deep court. And Canada's done that a few times, a couple quick short passes and then one over the top. So doing a great job of finding lanes and using that long lob. Is now Caldwell's just going to eat some of the clock. There's 30 seconds to go. Bounces the ball. Buck Erickson just staying in front of him as things have got locked up over center. Caldwell's trying to get a lane. He goes over the top to Debley.
Did Canada use its timeout there? Did they?
Yes, that is there.
Yeah. So use your final timeout. Give you 15 seconds, or turns the shot clock off, and it allows you to attempt to score last goal. So obviously Canada is rehearsing a tie game here, not a 6-goal spread.
And that's, as we were mentioning, what you want to do from both sides of the equation. Whether losing or winning, you want to prepare like it is close, and that stuff will help you out later in tournaments or later in game situations.
That's right.
As the countdown begins, Debley will get one last goal for Canada. And a pretty impressive showing here against the Danes. So Canada will go to 2-0 as Jorgensen just eats the clock. So the Canadians win on home court to improve to 2-0. And the Danes on the opposite end of the spectrum, although they had a pretty spirited first half, and as we were mentioning, lost a bit of their energy and mentally and physically in the second half of that game, played a pretty good game here, even though they are 0-2 to start the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think Canada played the game it wanted to. They did not seem to have a lot of difficulty breaking the press. I thought they maybe struggled against the key a little bit, but have to check the statistics to. I don't remember too many turnovers. Just could have been a little bit cleaner.
Maybe in the first half there was a few turnovers by each team, and then as it went on, definitely Canada cleaned up their game.
Yeah, the play got a little bit sloppy at the end of the first quarter and the second quarter, if I remember correctly. And then once again, that third quarter by the Danish team really cost them the game. And Canada, was able to get Anthony and Matt their first minutes of the tournament, which I think is important moving forward. So
Debley was noticeable, at least to me, in the last. I think he only played 2.5 minutes, but he made an impact.
Yeah, he's he's just a young man, 21, 22 years old. He's got a bright future for Canada, and I'm sure may not be relied heavily at the World Championships coming up, but Tokyo and beyond, I'm sure that he will be an important part of the future.
And how much is it important for these young players, just to, as much as you may not be playing as much as you want to, but just to be part of the program, part of the experience on the bench, getting your minutes and just getting your reps in, and the whole experience, even though you may not be playing a ton of minutes and whatnot.
I mean, you can't underestimate how important these experiences are. I've been fortunate enough I've been a coach and a player at a few World Championships and a coach at a Paralympics, and you can't simulate the pressure of a single game at a major championship. It's until you've actually been there and experienced it. Even as a bench player, it helps you prepare for the next time you have to be in that situation. So.
Yeah, it's a great job by Canada to work in some of those young guys, as we were mentioning late, as well as the Danes in the previous game and in this one as well, working some of their bench around. So good experience on both sides and a good game. And signing off from the Richmond Olympic Oval, I am Colin Emerson alongside Adam Frost. And Adam, it's been a pleasure. Look forward to working with you again later on in the tournament.
Yeah, thank you very much. Look forward to our next game, Australia-USA. should be exciting.
The Australians are obviously looking to respond after that loss to Japan, so we'll see how they do. In any event, I'm Colin Emerson again, signing off for Adam Frost, and we will see you later on.